So, you've said that you are very proud of yourself being an indie author and self-published author. So, why is that?
Well, it's the difference between owning your own business and going to work for a large company. You know, when you own your own business, maybe there's a lot more work involved, more hours, and maybe you're not making as much money, but it's your business. And so you get to make the decisions, and you get to arrange the shelves the way you want, and work the hours that you want to work. And the energy that you put in is all invested in you and your family. And being a self-published author just means that I can write whatever I want to write. I can release books as rapidly as I want to. I can price them low. I get final say on the cover art. You know, if I don't like it, I'll work with the designer, and we'll make the cover exactly the way I want it. With publishers, you know, you can get lucky and great cover art, but when they ask you, like, how do you like this? If you tell them you don't like it, they don't have the budget to do 5 covers. So you just have to take whatever they come up with. And having that amount of artistic control and owning your artwork for the rest of your life rather than selling it. Within a few years of publication, most books don't get a lot of support, but authors still care about their books. And instead of my books going out of print, 20 years from now, I can still support these books and maybe lower the price and give them more life and get more readers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But you also have experience working with the print publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the biggest difference between doing all by yourself and having a partner like Simon Schuster?
Yeah, the difference is I work on what I feel like working on whenever I want to. And that means I can write a blog post about anything, and I can do it whenever I want. I can shoot a video for readers whenever I want. With publishers, you get emails saying, like, we need a video for the Australian readers. Can you get it to us by Tuesday? And then you have lots of interviews coming in. And so it's more like having a job where there's expectations, things you have to do on certain days. And there's nothing wrong with that. They pay good money for the book, and you want to support them. We also do a lot of traveling to different countries for those publishers. I'm in Taiwan right now, and that's one of the huge benefits of working with a publisher. I would never spend the money to go to all these countries on my own, but publishers, want you to come and help support the book launch, and so that's a really cool benefit.
So how do you get the balance points, while you publish your own ebooks, and then at the same time you have a publisher as a partner to publish your print book?
Well, I put the reader first. That's my attitude. So when I write the book, I go through an editorial process where several people read the book and give me their feedback, and then I send it to my editor, and they give me professional editing assistance. And once the book is finished, instead of going through that long delay with the publisher, I upload it, and it's directly available to the reader. And while they're reading it, enjoying it, publishers might come to me and say, hey, we would like to publish this. And that's the order that I would like to go in, and that way it's better for publishers too. They can see if readers like the book, and they can see if there's demand for it. Publishers take a lot of gamble when they sign a manuscript. They might like it, the agent might like it, but will the readers like it? We don't know. So there's some advantages for the publisher to take the risk out of it. In the UK, they have had the ebooks out before the print book hits, and that's really helped the print book hit the Sunday Times list, because so many people are talking about the book before it comes out. And generating that word of mouth and getting readers excited, I think having the ebook out early benefits that.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned about there are self-published authors community in U.S. So
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us something about that? Because we don't have that in Taiwan. Maybe those authors are also very curious about how it's going in the U.S.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time sharing ideas online and forums and on Facebook and Twitter, and we've gotten to know each other. A lot of the really dedicated self-published authors, people who are publishing, several books a year and take this seriously like a career. We even go to book conferences like BEA, the big book conference in New York. 6 of us got a booth together and met with media and publishers and had a great time. And we've gotten to become friends, and anything that we can do to help each other, we do, because we don't see authors as being competitors. You have competition when you're producing products every day. But with writing, it might be 3 or 6 months or a year between books, and you want readers to keep reading, but so that when you publish your next book, they're still there. They're still engaged in that pastime. So when someone else writes a great book, that's a good thing for me as a writer. They're helping me. They're not competing with me. If they write a great book that gets new people reading, like what Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling did for an entire generation of readers, that's the best thing that can happen for other writers. So we celebrate each other, and we work together, and we see each other as allies. And I think that's something that authors in traditional publishing could do as well, like pool resources and go on book tours together. And it's very motivating and very encouraging. And when you hang out with other writers, you go home and you want to write even better and you want to write more.
Because you've mentioned about a lot of advantage of self-publishing, but there are still a lot of authors, they host different ideas about this. So from your viewpoint, what's the main reason keep them hold back from the self-publish?
Well, things are changing quickly, but we have to remember that for a very long time, self-publishing had just a horrible reputation. It was only people who couldn't get published any other way. And now you're seeing people who have moved from traditional publishing. They have 10 books that were published years ago, and they get the rights to those books back, and they release them self-published. So these are books that were edited and picked up and paid for by publishers. You also have people who get offers from publishing houses, and they turn those offers down and go self-publishing. So these books were good enough to be published by a Random House or a HarperCollins, and they say, I'm going to do it on my own. I have friends who have made that choice and turned down 6-figure deals to self-publish. So the quality of self-publishing books has really gone up rapidly because of that, because of where the books are coming from. And there are writers now who you have to be very patient to work with a publisher, because it can take you years to get an agent, and then years to get a publishing deal. And once you sign the deal, another year before the book comes out. A lot of people now are thinking, in that time, I could write 8 books, I could write 2 books a year for 4 years and have a huge catalog and a direct relationship with readers. But I think more authors will come around. I think more will go to conferences and talk to authors who will say, yeah, I've never made a great living with the traditional publisher. Now that I'm doing it myself, I'm making a lot more money, and I'm happier, and I'm writing the things that I want to write instead of a sequel that's exactly like the last book. So I think the word will spread. This has only been going on for a few years, and already attitudes are changing. Publishers are picking up self-published works. Major media outlets are reviewing them. People want to interview people like me, which is, this would have been crazy 2 years ago for me to be sitting here talking to you.
Mm-hmm. But there are still a lot of authors, they try very hard to get the attention from the traditional publisher. Do you agree with them, or you have other ideas about this part?
I think every author has to weigh the benefits for themselves, and they have to figure out what they would be happy doing. Some authors, I think, would be unhappy doing a lot of the work on their own, and they want to partner with someone to walk them through the process. I think it depends on what country and what market you're in. In the US, it's very easy to self-publish, and there's a healthy community of readers that support self-published authors, and ebooks have gained wide acceptance. In a lot of the countries that I partner with publishers in, I don't think self-publishing would work as well. We're seeing that change, though. Just a couple weeks ago in Germany, all 10 of the top 10 best-selling ebooks on the Germany Amazon store were all self-published. And that was the first time it had ever happened in Germany. And that's a pretty big deal. So it could be that the changes we saw in the US will spread as e-readers are adopted in other countries.
So do you think how long will it take?
Well, I don't know. In the UK, it seems like they're about 4 or 5 years behind the US. So when you look at the curves of the adoption of ebooks in the US, what's going on in the UK is about 4 or 5 years behind that. So it could be in 2019 that they have the same sort of percentages that we have in the US. We'll have to see. I mean, no one really knows. It's the scary and the exciting thing about working in this industry right now is everything is so new that there are no experts. People ask me my opinion, but I'm just guessing like anybody else. I mean, even major publishers, and I think that's why they're worried. For those of us who don't have a big company and a lot of things that depend on all this, change is exciting for us because it's new and fresh. For the people that have systems in place that have been there for decades, change is terrifying. And I think that's why you have a optimistic and positive attitude from independent authors, and the people who don't want things to change are very scared about it.